we're going to show you in an inexpensive way to turn that skull into something you're proud to put on the wall. Welcome back to Teach a Man to Fish channel. In today's video, it's about 10 months worth of production in this video. We're going to be making a European bone skull mount and show you the process from in the ground all the way up to and including the varnish. Let's go ahead and get started. You've got that mount. You've got something that you want to put up on the wall. Maybe you don't want to invest a lot in it. Maybe you already have a giant on the wall and this one is just a step down. Maybe it's not that skull that ends up being you want to pay the $400, $500, $600, whatever it takes to do a full body mount or a skull mount, full head mount in your area. This is literally zero cost associated with it, and you're doing that animal the justice that he deserves. I can't stress enough to you how easy this would be for you to do. There is no complexity in it whatsoever. You've got the beetles, the bacteria, the roots go in. Nature lets nothing go to waste. All of that is energy that it taps into while it's in the ground and removes all that for you. Watch all the way to the end of this, and the detail that you'll pick up in the skull from this is absolutely stunning. So you want to do your best to get the dirt all around those parts where the flesh, the ears, in between the horns. You want the dirt touching it. So between the bacteria and the beetles and the worms and the grubs and everything that's going to eat this and turn it into energy for themselves primarily lives in or on top of that dirt. You don't have to put the bags over the horns. That's just the way I do it. I think it protects them a little bit and keeps them from getting too stained, because I do like the natural color of those horns when they come out of this process. I don't know about your wife or your husband, but this process kind of creeps her out, so I try to make it a little discreet, either in a part of the yard that she doesn't see regularly. And here's my camouflage. Look, hon, it's just the canoe sitting there. It also provides that security and protection to keep the critters from making an easy meal as they try and get to it. A little bit of security, pile some bricks on it, a tub, something to reduce the odor that can come from it. Although I'll tell you, it doesn't smell that much. I'm planting them so they'll grow bigger next year. Now that we've seen them going into the ground, let's go ahead and jump over to the one that's been in the ground for 10 months. You can see what's left and how it works out. So this one's been in the ground since January. Undisturbed. I haven't looked at it. We're in October, so you're talking over 9 months in here. Just point of clarification, I want you to know I'd just gotten back from a costume party. My hair is actually not that gray. And obviously this plastic that I was using to keep the critters away from it fell in. We'll talk more about plaques and mounting in just a second. You'll notice that there is zero hair, flesh, gross, smell, anything in this skull as it comes out of the ground. The lower portion of the jawbone stayed in there, which I really don't care about. There's not a bit of flesh left in there. There's nothing left to clean up. Just some roots, some dirt, a little bit of hose work, and it's ready to go. This head was entirely whole when it went into the ground. You'll notice all those fine bones in there are still there. So now we'll go get this cleaned up, bleach it, see how it comes out. Or will I bleach it? Go to the next part of the phase. So that was 10 months in the ground. By the time it's all said and done, you've got several options you can use to try and find how you want to display your trophy. There's pedestal, there's wall mounted, there's even a tree that they make. I'll put links down below that you can follow so you can go ahead and see what some of those options are and maybe explore for yourself. That's weird. It's all foam again. I don't know why it's doing that. See, these little paper thin bones are the ones that break real easy when you try and do it through the other ways, the other methods. But this way, all those delicate sinus cavity stays right there. None of these are broken. Amazing. I might not even clean it up. I think it looks cool like that.
It does look cool.
Well, we've let that dry for 24 hours. Next day, takes a little bit of time for the moisture to get out of those bones and in the antler. We're using a polyacrylic, a simple coating, seal it up, lock those colors in, and it gives it a nice gloss that you'll see here in just a second. I'll put a link down below to Amazon where you can purchase some of the tools and equipment that we use in this video. And that's a nice problem to have. That rack is just too darn heavy, keeps knocking that skull over. If you're at all interested in some of our venison and hunting and cooking videos, I'll go ahead and put a link to a playlist up above in that upper right corner. Please feel free to click and check the rest of our videos out. In just a second, I'm going to show you the incredible detail that comes out of this process. So this is just one coat. It's been drying for probably about 20-30 minutes, and I already think this looks stunning. I don't even think it needs a second coat. If you go that bleaching route, you will lose some of the detail that you can see in these photos with the cracks that are accented by the darker staining in the dirt, the nooks and crannies standing out. I'm not sure you can get much better than this with that natural earth color. And your staining will change according to the soil of where you are. I know if you're in a high clay content like where I am with Virginia clay, it will absolutely give your skull a reddish tint. So YouTube says that this video is perfect for your viewing habits. This is my latest upload, and over here is a playlist that I think you might enjoy. I hope you liked it. If you did, please click like, subscribe, share, and come on back for more.